Hey boys and girls, and welcome to Social Studies. Today we are going to continue to talk about the regions of Georgia. The region that we're going to be talking about today is the Valley and Ridge region right here in the green. This is in the northern part of Georgia between the Appalachian Plateau and Blue Ridge region. So the Valley and Ridge region right here, it has a lot of really good fertile soil, great for growing plants and apple trees and any kinds of crops that you might want to grow. This would be a really great region to grow crops in because of the mountains. When you have mountains or hills, normally whenever it rains, the water will run off the mountain to the bottom of the hill, right? And so at the bottom of those hills are called valleys. And at the bottom of that valley, because there's so much rain that gets there, that ground is so fertile and perfect for growing crops. So because of the hills, it lets that water go deep down inside. I am going to now show you on Google Maps what this region looks like from space, just like we have with all the other regions, so you can kind of see how there are valleys that are like down on the ground, and then there are ridges that are more kind of like or not really mountains but hills. Okay, so we can see right here that this is Georgia. We have looked at the Piedmont region, which is the middle of Georgia. We have looked up at the Appalachian Plateau up here in the northwest. We have looked at the Blue Ridge Mountains up here in the northeast. Today we're going to look at just the mountains in the Valley and Ridge region, which is right here. So there's valleys, which are low, and ridges, which are like high hills, like big hills. All right, so here is an example. So I just zoomed in on a place called Amicalola Falls, and Amicalola Falls is in the Valley and Ridge region. Now, I told you that there are lots of big hills and very fertile soil where the rain runs off. And if you look, you can kind of tell like these are kind of hills. They're not mountains. Valley and Ridge does not have mountains. They have lots of rolling hills. And because there's so many rolling hills, the water will go down. You can kind of see that this is a river that is kind of formed. This is where the water would run off, and then in the valley, this is the valley, this is the ridges, and then the valleys are where you would have really good soil for growing crops, such as apple trees or peach trees. There's lots of different types of trees that people would grow, or plants like strawberries. So this is, I'm going to zoom out some so you can kind of see. This is what the Ridge and Valley region looks like from up in space, or maybe if you were up high like in an airplane. So you can tell it looks very green and hilly. It's very pretty. I mean, there is some population from people that have chosen to live in this region, but for the most part, you notice, look at all that. Look at all that land. It's mostly made up of hills and valleys, lots of valleys that have streams of water where it's really good soil. So I'm going to go out, zoom out so you can see this orange spot right here is where we were just at, Amicalola Falls. Still there, my cursor still on it. That is where Amicalola Falls is. Alright, very cool to see that. Let me go out some more. Okay, we're a little bit turned around. So this is a different view from what we're used to looking at. So this is Florida down here. It got flipped around when we were zooming in, and this is Georgia, and this is the upper states. There's Gulf of Mexico. So it's kind of a cool different place to see this from. We're thinking this from a different way, so it's like upside down basically from what we're used to seeing. But this is Georgia, so right here would be where you have Blue Ridge Mountains, and then that's where, let me zoom back in. Sorry, it's kind of confusing, but basically you can tell that the Ridge and Valley region has rolling hills and lots of valleys, okay? So now what you're going to do is you're going to go to your must-do, and this is where you're going to start kind of exploring your museum. Remember, you click the present button. I'm going to go ahead and do that and show you. Once you click the present button, today we just watched Miss Busby and listened to Miss Busby talk about the Valley and Ridge region. So that's the only PowerPoint that is going to work in room 2. So when you click on it, it will open up to the videos that you can watch. I want you to get out your social studies notebook, and I want you to make sure that you are in the next clean page in your notebook. Yesterday you should have on your own wrote notes down about the Ridge and Valley. Nope, sorry. Yes, Blue Ridge Mountains. Today's the Ridge and Valley. I'm going to show you what you should have in your notebook. Okay, so I want you to go ahead and put this just like this in your social studies notebook and be ready to go over this information when we come back together. Or if you are ready, you can go ahead and watch the museum and do your must-do. If you have any questions, I will be on Zoom. Go ahead and get started.